Thank you now.
What's poppin'?
Hi.
How you doing? Good?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good. No complaints, no complaints. I appreciate you hanging out with me.
No, thank you for the invite. I'm most honored. Thank you.
No, no problem, no problem. This is my 30th episode. So, yeah, I'm excited. We're
Congratulations.
yeah. We're 30. It's kind of like dog years in the sense that the years are going faster than normal, but it's been a cool ride. I got a chance to, read about you. I had already been following you, and we know some people in common, and
Yes, I
I'm
saw.
excited. Yeah, right. So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. First, let's start with Bermuda. Um, I when I was in college, I used to date a girl from Bermuda, and I always used to be like,
What
"Wow,
college did you go to? I probably know them. Younger, older, cousin.
probably know their you probably know their people." But she went to Spelman while I was at Morehouse, so um, yeah, I've heard some different things about Bermuda, but it was all through one source, and she could or could not be a reliable source. So I wanted to come to another reliable source and ask some
Well, I
questions
have
about Bermuda.
first of all, we're gonna have to talk offline because I have two cousins that went to Spelman that are
Oh
like
wow. Okay.
they're like my older cousins will be like maybe 34, 35. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. We might know some more people in common. Jeez. Yeah.
But ask away. Ask away.
Yeah. So my first question is, what's it really like? Like the people who don't grow up around water and beaches and sand and stuff assume that it's all water and beaches and sand. But is that kind of like not really a big deal to you when you grow up in that type of environment, or were you close to the beach? How was it?
Well, okay, so we're like a really small island. So we're like 21 square miles long and 7 square miles wide. So everybody is essentially like from an American like perspective, everyone is close to the beach. Like no one is far. But for like growing up, because everything is relative, um, I definitely lived way close to the beach. Like I could like my mom lived down the hill. I mean up the hill from the beach, and so did my
Okay.
dad. So I was a water rat. Okay, any chance I could get in the water, I was there. Any chance I could go snorkeling, I was there. Yeah, and it's exciting.
Nice.
Like I mean, especially for me. Like I just am like an outdoor kid. I was like, so I wouldn't trade my growing up in the islands for anything.
Man, sounds like an amazing time. Um, I read that you were involved in a lot of things growing up, a lot of activities, which I think is good. Sometimes it can be a little, your mind would be everywhere. You like so many things, right? So I wanted to ask you about that when you were growing up and you were acting, doing gymnastics and dancing and
Yes.
everything else, probably juggling and throwing darts and archery and everything else. But how?
that that was my siblings actually. They did the fencing. I didn't do the fencing.
Oh, okay, wow. So
But
what like did you ever love anything more than music when you were growing up?
yes, actually, two things. And I guess I wouldn't say more than music, but it was like more like it was what I thought was possible. And don't judge me, but I really wanted to be an ice skater, so I practiced rollerblading because I thought that was the closest thing I could get in the island. So I was like really practiced like my ice skating and like all up and down the streets and like bruising myself and whatnot. And then as I got older, I loved forensic science. So I actually got flown out to DC to Johns Hopkins to do a summer of
Nice.
studying forensic science, and that was the summer I decided I definitely wanted to do music because I just I wasn't about the dead bodies. Like it was just so like we had to look and assess, and you kind of had to become numb to that. And I was just like never. I don't ever want to get used to this. So, songwriting and music was the next best thing. Puzzles, figuring it out.
Right.
So yeah.
Nice. That's very interesting. Okay, so this is gonna sound well. I'll get to that in a second. Let's go. Let's keep with background some more. I've read that you come from a lineage of artists, you know, and I would like to know about that background. Is it one particular discipline in the arts? Is it the other? Like, who is it? Break it down.
No, so actually I was really blessed. So I have, it's on both sides of my family. And so my great grandmother, my great grandmother, she was one of Bermuda's well known poets and storytellers. So she told a lot of stories, and a lot of her stuff was like published and things like that. And then I have painters as cousins who are like renowned. I see their paintings in Atlanta and New York. And my grandmother, my mom sang, my dad wrote poetry. I just, there's opera singers in my family. And then my great uncle, he was a famous bassist in Bermuda. So
Nice.
it was pretty much everywhere. And then I went to, my church, I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. And my parents and my parents' friends, they were friends with Take Six. So, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the group Take Six, but so they would come to Bermuda a lot, and we just have such amazing music. And I was really blessed to have that growing up. So, yeah.
Yes. Let's see here. The picture's getting just a little bit blurry, and I know you're way prettier than I am. So I'm trying to see what we can do. Help me out. Move me just a little bit. See if you can shake me loose.
Okay, hold on. Around my apartment. Sorry, guys.
It's all good. We can't see anything.
How about no?
It's better. Sometimes it just pops back into place. I usually just keep going, but I definitely have to. Oh yeah, let's better. Yes. Let's work with this. It's gonna happen. It always pops back into place, but I always like to mention it just in case. So I was gonna ask you this question. Is there a way?
Wipe it off. Sorry.
Even better. It's even better. Maybe it worked.
I hope so.
Yes, it's even better now though. Can you explain to me the basics of cricket? Do you know the basics of cricket? No.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So, essentially, there's innings. Oh, my dad's gonna whip my ass. It's honey mushrooms. Basically, you just don't want to get out. So there's like these 3 sticks at the end, right? And then there's these little things on the sticks. And if it hits the wicket, like, there's a bowler at one end and there's a batter at the other end. So they have to throw it. And if it hits the wicket, you're out. And if somebody catches it, it's like you're out. It's like baseball, but like cooler.
Cool. The picture is getting real. The picture is getting even cooler. So we're like right there. We're like right there. Thanks everybody. Thanks. All right. So when it comes to casually listening to music in Bermuda, right? Like I remember growing up, going to my grandmother's house, and I would hear a variety of music, and then I would listen to music on my own or listen to music at school with my friends. But in Bermuda, if you were at your grandmother's house or an older person's house, like I'm trying to get an idea of the musical makeup, like of the island as well as yeah.
Okay, so on my grandmother that I lived with, I call her Nanji. She's the one who sings I was really listening to old gospel with her. Like, it was no really secular music with the exception of, you know, some Whitney Houston songs, some Mariah Carey, you know. Um, so it was really like Tremaine Hawkins and Hezekiah Walker and like all those, you know, like the gospel greats, you know.
Yes.
And I would be like listening to that, and of course like Take Six and stuff. But then on my other grandma's side, you know, she loved everything. So there would be like Marvin Gaye on the radio, and when I'd sleep over her house, I'd go sleep to the Quiet Storm, which I think is probably how I fell in love with like sexy music, you know,
Yeah.
because like I just would be up. I would be up and everybody would be asleep, and I'd be like, Quiet Storm, and I would just be like, hmm. And then my parents were really young, so my dad actually introduced me to like TLC, and then he loved Sade and Prince and Carlos Santana, and then my mom was more of like Vanessa Williams, Deborah Cox, like all those people, and and then obviously there's just like reggae everywhere, dancehall everywhere. That's the soundtrack of the island, you know. So
Gotcha.
it was just a mixture of things. I loved Aaliyah. That was Aaliyah, and like growing up, Aaliyah and Sade and you know Beyonce. They were like my older sisters. So yes, I was that kid that imagined people to be. She said, "Blame it on grandma."
I can imagine you listening to Rock the Boat like for the first time, and
Yes.
with the vibes of the growing up and everything.
I like, oh my gracious, so like okay, the first album that I think I bought was Brandy's, the one that says have you ever loved somebody, like that album. And then
Okay.
I remember sneaking trying to listen to Confessions because my parents thought I wasn't old enough to listen to that music, and he has the music where he has like all the groans and stuff in the music, and I used to be like trying to sneak listen to it like, ooh shit.
Wow. So would you say that music as an aspiration was a pretty easy, I don't want to say easy because that's not fair, but a realistic goal that you could present to people that were older than you and your family as something you wanted to do? Was it quickly supported or?
I the only reason it was even well, this one you'd have to ask my parents, but I feel like the only reason I got a lot of support, like as far as it being realistic, because nobody in Bermuda had ever really made it like that, with the exception of Collie Buds. People had done great things, but you know, like we're from a little island, and then I guess the same with Rihanna. Before she made it, nobody was thinking like, oh, we're gonna find the next big singer like in Bermuda. No, so
Yeah.
Robin Givens had come to Bermuda, and she put on an off-Broadway play. She was testing it out, and my mom and my godfather had me audition for it, and she wrote me in as the lead of the play. And I think
Oh, wow.
that's when my parents were like, "Oh wow, okay, maybe this is a thing, you know." And but then I just wanted to be a kid, and I just wanted to play, so they let me do that, and then I picked it up naturally on my own. And
That's a great way.
I always got support, like, you know, parents are parents, but I pretty much, you know, have a strong mind of my own, so I was gonna do it anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember being stage fright at all when you were doing that
Yes.
play?
Yes. Yes. First of all, I'm still stage fright. Honestly, singing in front of like hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people is way easier for me than singing in front of like one person. And people don't understand that, because when I'm singing in front of so many people, I still get stage fright. Like, I have performance anxiety, like a little bit. But like when I'm like one on one, it's like I have to look into the depths of your soul and sing. And so I'm just like, no. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I understand. I used to explain it that way too, because it's like when you see a whole bunch of people, you don't focus on any one particular person for a while. But it's like if you're singing in front of one person and they're like, or they're bored, or they're on their phone, then it's like, dang, that type of thing.
Exactly. And if people always like want to look me in the eye when I'm singing to them, and I'm just like, no. When I'm on stage, like I become like a little bit of a different person, like on stage, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm a dork. I'm really not cool, so I'm not.
There's a place. There's a place for that. There's a place for that.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying.
yeah, it's all relative. I think also it makes people appreciate that other side too when you're on stage and you're doing your thing. Then when you're more human, when you're not on stage and people can relate. So it's relatable. So
Yeah, because I'm
that's a
the
good thing.
accent friend, man. I'm accent friend. I'm the one to like. I'm the one to like trip upstairs. I'm the one to leave everything, lose everything. You know, people know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I thought it was very interesting your early success, and I wanted to talk about that with you. Um, because I remember when I started recording, I was probably around 16, maybe 16 when I got in my first studio. And I'm like, oh man, this is amazing. I could have been there all night. But I didn't put a song out, and my song didn't do anything on the radio where I'm from or anything like that. So I wanted to ask about that because I saw that at 17 you had a song called I'm Free that did well on the radio. So I wanted to get you to think about yourself at 16, 17, right? As a recording artist. How were you? What was your process like? What was your whole vibe like as a recording artist at 16, 17? And then walk me through the song and how, it came about and ended up doing well.
Okay, so first of all, the song came about because I had to do community service, and somehow I got my school to accept me being in the studio as community service. You know, so it helped. And then like I had a big bro. His name is like Dana Ventuzo. He's now actually the MD for Monica, and but yeah, we were in Bermuda, and like he was like out of college and everything. He was like, Kenji, sing this. You know what? You need to learn how to write songs. Write this. And I was just like, okay, I've only written 2 songs before, but okay. And he was just like, let's get it. And he's like, what do you hear to this beat? And you know what? I'm gonna leave you in the studio and you figure it out. And I was just like, okay. So at that point in time, like all I really sang was like gospel and covers and like inspirational things at weddings and stuff. So like, you know, I think me being able to write that song made me feel free, and so I was just like, I'm free. And then he like wrote it with me, and it ended up being a contemporary gospel song on his project, and people just really liked it. I didn't really expect that. And like people would sing it all the time, or like people would come to me and just like say, hey, I heard your song on the radio and it really helped me. And that, I guess it made me feel like I did something for other people. And I couldn't not do that. I was like, well, I have to do this again. So I was really happy that I was afforded that opportunity, you know?
Yeah.
It
Were
was
you still in school? Were you still in school when the song was on the radio?
Yes, I was actually younger than 17. I think I had just turned 16. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I was just bopping around town with my backpack and my uniform, and I would just hear it random places. I was also the I was also so we have this thing that's kind of like I guess would be Target, but it's like books. It's like Barnes and Noble and Target mixed together and Starbucks, but it's like our version of the Caribbean. And I did the theme song for them So like I would hear that all the time, and then people would hear the song all the time, and then I'd just be bopping around town with my friends, you know. It
Oh
was
yeah.
cool. It was cool.
Did you get the big head though?
No, I didn't because I didn't like the sound of my voice. I didn't, and still to this day, I don't like being in the room when my music plays. Like I was just like, I don't know, man, I'm awkward.
Yeah. Well, so tell me vocally then, where does your texture come from?
Um, well, funny enough, my dad really like is not the singer in the family, but I sound more like him when he tries to sing. He and I so he and I so we sound a lot alike. But I think you know, my mom my mom has a beautiful voice and my grandmother has a beautiful voice, and yeah, I think maybe it just came from them, like the tone. My dad and my mom and my dad are really cool. They talk really chill. So I think I might like get that from them. They're way cooler than me.
Got you. Well, I saw that you I want you to walk me through your experience post um Bermuda and Berkeley. Okay?
Okay.
Because I've had the fortune of being able to know a lot of people who went to Berkeley, a lot of people who went to Berkeley, and I'm jealous. Part of me, there's a part of me that's jealous about not having gone to Berkeley because I feel like it would have been a really cool experience to be around so many creative people. But I have yet to talk to a woman who went to
Really?
Berkeley. Yeah, what they don't want to be on my show. They don't care about me. So because I have you, I
Okay.
want to ask
What
you
do you want
about
to know?
I want to ask you about your experience at Berkeley coming from, you know, Bermuda and being a woman. What was it like to get in there and mix it up in Boston with people who were very talented?
Number one, it was cold. Way too cold. Too cold to even live. I don't really understand how I did. I'm sorry. One second. One
Yeah,
second.
yeah, it's cool. How's everybody doing out there? I got my shirt cut real low, so I'm glad like the thing cut off. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's all good.
Um.
So it's cold.
Yes, it was like sorry. It was really cold in Boston. I came. I like was on tour, so I deferred, and so I went there in like a January, and yeah, almost died a couple times in the cold. Being me. But as far as like the school, I think Berkeley is one of those experiences where you go there and you think everything you're going to learn is going to be from your teachers. And the teachers are amazing. Um, we have some of the best teachers in the world, some of the best musicians come back and teach. But realistically, you actually learn the most from your peers and you make lifelong connections that help you and that shape you. And I did. I made lifelong connections there. My friends taught me so much, and it was really intimidating. Like my first semester there, I was like, "Whoa, everybody's a genius." I only know how to sing, but people knew how to like write songs. They had perfect pitch. They knew how to arrange. They knew Michael Jackson's hair grease. I I wasn't that equipped, you know. So my first semester after Berkeley, when I came home, I actually was really sad, and I didn't even listen to the radio. I didn't sing. I didn't do anything. I just like was so over music, and my parents were like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't think I'm good enough." And I kind of just I went back with like a newfound love, you know, because I went back to the place where I fell in love with music, home. And I came back and I was just me, and my experience was so much better, you know. It can be intimidating. Like, you have to find, you have to find your gift. Everyone has genius. And I think Berkeley is a great place to explore that. There's so many people there, there's so many resources there. And I'm jealous now because I heard they have like state of the art studios. It's always, look, that school is real different. No, they always do that. So.
Wow. Did you ever get out in Boston and like sing around town?
I wasn't a party animal, but I did sing all the time. I sang at this place called Riles in Boston and Wally's, which are like two famous places in Boston that a lot of people sing. I was a part of like an old girl band, and that was cool. And then I was a part of a showcase called Artists Live, and that was definitely like a springboard for a lot of learning experiences and kind of just having 2 shows a night. I mean, having 2 shows a week plus school, that really helped prepare me for like the music industry, you know.
What would you say, because I'm interested to know about like any type of camaraderie amongst women in Berkeley and even post coming out of Berkeley.
I was really blessed to know some really dope girls and some really beautiful people. I will say the vocal department was tough to make friends because everybody was a diva, you know? And there was competition and there was belting and there was who could do this the best, who could do this the best. And I really wasn't about that. Like, I really wasn't trying to compete with nobody. And so I kind of like stayed away from a lot of the people who I knew would get me in trouble as far as like, you know, just too much. And the friends that I made were absolutely amazing. A lot of the friends I made, like, you know, they were like 2 semesters above me, like a couple years above me, because I liked hanging with people who knew what they were doing. And so, one of my best friends, Kevin Ross, who I did the song with, he was like, I think he was like he was popping at school already, okay? All right, he was basically the school mascot, all right? They were like, Kevin, sing here, be on the YouTube page. It was popping. And so when I met him, he kind of just helped me because I was like failing some ear training classes. I was. And he helped me through that, and we just stayed friends, and like he kind of guided me, like any mistakes that he made in his career, he was like, no, Kanj, don't do that. And so many of my friends, like I have one of my big bros, Troy, they're an amazing vocalist. He helps me and guides me, and I'm really blessed to have people who have so much experience. There's pretty much nowhere you can go in the music industry where there isn't a Berkeley.
For sure.
So. Yep. And honestly, you don't need to go there. Just spend a couple months around a bunch of Berkeley people, and you know, you got it.
A lot cheaper, I'm sure.
I will give you a sweatshirt.
Please, thank you. I will take it too. Oh man. So post Berkeley, was it back to Bermuda, or was it I'm going to LA or I'm going to New York? Or
no, actually I went to Atlanta, and I had my cousin. I had 2 cousins. I was really, really blessed. I had 2 cousins from Bermuda, one who had done engineering on the Blueprint for Jay-Z, and the other who was on part of Nia's management team. And so they both kind of guided me through studios, and they told me, look, we know that you can be an amazing artist, but work on your songwriting first, because that's going to really protect you and get you in rooms in a way that being an artist might make you vulnerable, because people always want to take from you. And if you can create other skills where you can give to other people, it would get you in a lot of other rooms. So they had me in studios, and I was a fly on the wall, and I met a lot of people, and it's almost like that that group of people that I met, and that were kind of like, I call it a graduating class, because you know we're all like different ages, but we're just the graduating class. You have like Lucky Day and like all these people, and like we're all coming out, and it's really cool to know that like you know we were all writing and before anybody like knew who we were, and it's so yeah.
How would you say your songwriting has changed as a result of those years that you spent kind of sharpening your skills?
Um, I had the opportunity to write so much, so many different styles, and then when certain things I would work on, like I got the opportunity to really flex, and then as I was writing, I would kind of understand well what is something that I would give away versus something that's like totally me, you know. And I think a lot of artists and songwriters like have to that's that fine line that we tread because you don't want to give away something that's so you that it should be done by you, you know. But then there are other things that I'm like, nah, it's cool, you can sing that. And so I had to learn that. That was like a big thing for me. And I just got pushed to step outside of my box because I didn't really want to be compared to anybody, and nobody knew what Bermudian culture was, so I felt like that was even a bigger push for me to, like, all right, we are Native American Indian, we're West Indian, we're Portuguese, we are British. What does that mean for my sound? Like, how do all these influences shape me? And then I loved me some, like, Haley from, oh my gosh, what's that group?
Paramore?
Yes. Like she was she was like one of my faves, and I loved I really really loved kind of like that alternative sound as well, so I had such a wide breadth of interest and love for genres of music. It was cool having that time to like dip in and dip out, and it was only until like maybe the last couple like years that I was just like, I really need more dancehall and reggae vibes in my music. You know, I think I was missing the dance element. Like I would be in the dance club, and like I'm calling it the dance club, I mean the dance hall, whatever. I would be like in club, and like people would be dancing, there would be like trap music. But if that reggae or dancehall came on, I would just move different, and that's when I was just like, that's what's missing, like that, you know. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been a journey. It's been cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, it's cool that you're able to kind of set the standard. You're able to participate in setting the standard for what people perceive coming from your culture. I think it's great. Obviously, there's pressure, I'm sure, on you as an artist
There
to,
is. Well,
it just is.
nobody puts it on me. It's
Okay.
like me, myself, and I are my hardest critics, like my toughest critics. And I'm always trying to be the best I can be, or be as authentic and as pure as I can be. So even when I'm in the studio and I'm writing lyrics, I'm writing melodies, I'm like, is this the best thing that I could have done? Is this the best way to say how I feel? You know? So when it comes to my culture, it's always been important to like, especially with the visuals, to reflect, because we don't see ourselves on TV, you know? Like, the television and the movies, they have some terrible Caribbean accents.
Yeah, they do.
We don't see ourselves on TV. And I wanted to give the little girls that come from where I come from, and my little cousins and the guys, I wanted them to see themselves on TV. And so,
That's dope. I think I think it makes a big difference, especially when you're emerging and you're making a way for yourself and people are getting to know you and you're still conscious of, you know, the influence that you have on people that support you. That's a huge thing. I was let's talk about music. So let's
okay.
talk about cave covers because I want to get the backstory behind that. I love the fact that it's a mixture And I love the cover selection as well, because I think it's such a important thing to know, to choose the right covers. And I wanted to ask you, first, for everybody out there watching, take us through what Cave Covers is sonically, but then add on to that the covers part of it, and how you go about choosing covers that would be right for you to do or flip or whatever.
Okay, so I wouldn't write a textbook on it because I'm pretty much spastic and all over the place. But really, I chose songs that I came from people that I loved and hugely influenced me growing up. So like Missy Elliott, I chose Missy Elliott, but then I chose a newer Missy Elliott song. So, you know, that like, you know, people could feel the vibe. Um, Brandy, that album, just the vulnerability in her voice and just what she was talking about. And I know, like, you know, it was, I know most people like love Full Moon and stuff, but for me, that was such a pivotal project for me. Um, so Broken Hearted, I don't know, I think it's one of the most beautiful songs she's ever sung. And so I definitely wanted to do that. Sade, oh my gosh, it's like, I love my mom, but sometimes I really wish Sade was my mom. But my dad loved her, and he's the reason why I fell in love with her. So I really did that song specifically by your side for my dad. Um, you know, I did it for sentimental reasons. Um, Everybody Here Wants You, Jeff Buckley. Jeff Buckley is so underrated. Like, he's like so dope, so amazing. And one of my mentors back in Bermuda put me on to Jeff Buckley and put me onto the song Everybody Here Wants You. And they were like, you know, you should sing this. And I was like I was like 16 around the time, and I kind of just kept the song in my pocket. And it wasn't until like I was in ATL and I would like come to visit between school, and like Kevin was set up here, and a few other people that I knew were set up here because I'm in ATL right now. And I was like, hey, what if we redid this song and made it more R&B and made it a duet? I think it would be killer. And I think we did a cool job. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
That was years ago that we did that, but that we came up with the idea. And Easy Love is a record that I wrote about my personal life, because sometimes people are making it really hard. They be making it really hard. Love don't have to
We
be
could
that hard. It really
we
don't
could
have
definitely debate about that, but
people like, it was just Easy Love is just like, why do you have to make it so hard? Why we gotta fight? Like, it's like, can we not be on a boat and have fun and not fight? And someone else, same relationship, same sentiment. You know.
Yeah.
So, and it's called Cave Covers because when I was younger, I was up the hill from the beach, and I just always used to like run somewhere private, because until I was discovered by my teacher, no one knew I could sing, and I didn't either. It just was like my coping mechanism. So I would like sing to myself to calm myself down, and I would like run to the beach, and there was these little caves, and it had amazing acoustics. So that's why I decided to call it Cave Covers.
Super dope.
And I picked the songs that I thought would help people see me without giving away too many of my originals, you know, and I wanted to honor the people that had influenced me. So there's a deluxe coming out, yes, and that has like some more special moments and more people on there that I think you guys would love, because this one had Kevin and Jacob Lattimore, and I loved it. And Overtime was it was the last song written, actually. It was written right before COVID.
Oh, wow.
So it was like the last minute addition, and I love it. It was like the best.
What was the process of putting everything together during, like, the pandemic, the major or the earlier pandemic months, if you will?
Um, Honestly, I was chilling. I mean, I know the pandemic has come with some hardships, like me getting stuck outside my country, people losing people, and a lot of, serious things. But as far as like for musicians, I think it was, um, as far as the creative process, a breath of fresh air because we really got to sit with ourselves and create the things that we thought we didn't have time to make and
Mm.
take time when we thought things had to be done yesterday. And so it really gave me the time to kind of like put even more intention. So it was a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of FaceTimes, a lot of those. And I mean, that's me anyway, because I talk to my family on FaceTime and WhatsApp like that. So it wasn't really that much of a departure, and it wasn't that stressful. We pushed things back a bit, but I'm pretty much a go with the flow kind of person. So
You
I was
seem
just,
easygoing. Seem like easy to work with.
yeah, I have my moments where I want things the way I want it, I do have my moments. What did Beyonce says? I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
Yeah.
So I have those moments, but I'm pretty much overall. I know that God is gonna work it out.
Nice.
Yes.
Listen, you've got so much of it together with what you already. I mean, with what you've said. I mean, first of all, the schooling and the education and the support and all that, it makes a great difference, big difference. But when you're actually in the thick of things and you have people that are around that can help guide you and everything like that, and they really have your best interest at heart, it could be treacherous for female artists. I really feel for female artists, but I can say that being a writer, that you hit the nail on the head with being able to cultivate that skill. Your cousins, kudos to your cousins, yo, for real.
Yeah,
That's like,
definitely. Like honestly, God, I couldn't have planned it better to have the right people in my life, and the management that I have now. They're a really great management team. MC Media Wax, Jonathan Sims, and Jonte Johns. They manage myself and Jacqueline, and they have done an amazing job, with us and myself. And um, the support system is real. And I think coming from the islands, all I ever really wanted is my team to feel like family, you know, and they do. They really do. They
how
really
would you or what advice would you give to a young woman that's out there who's looking to be able to kind of find that a similar type of support group from a management side who might not necessarily have the type of guidance you have? What would you tell them, a young woman, to look out for or to be, to watch out for in that way?
I would say that it's. I just have all my team just coming out of different rooms in the interview. there's my big bro, there's my manager. They're just opening different doors. Is this do you want to do an instant joint interview?
Turn up. I love it. I love it. That's the first.
Like what? And you trying to crawl on the ground like they saw you.
They put hearts on the daggone screen, so
I know. Did you see the heart? Bruh, anyway. So, um, what was the question again?
How would you
Oh, yes. How would
yeah.
I guide? Okay, honestly, I would just say it's so, so important to cultivate your community, meaning like amazing friends that support you, friends that do things for you when you don't have to ask and they don't make you feel judged. And I think that's the first and foremost thing. Like I had a really awesome church community, friends around first and foremost, which kind of gave me the support and the safety net to not go through a lot of the things that you can go through as a woman in the music industry. Second, I would just say spend time really cultivating all the skills you can, whether it's your songwriting, how you want to dress, how you want to look, and definitely make sure you go to the networking events, but go with friends, and just the right people will find you. Like, I never thought that my management would be my management. I knew them before, definitely, but it was just a blessing. And it just came together. I had a few managers that weren't the right fit, I'll say that, before, and I had to skedaddle out of there. But for real, I would just say really just hone in on you and cultivate you. And I think when you continue to cultivate yourself and your talents and the people that you have around you, you can't help but attract what's right.
Yeah.
I know that may be a little wishy-washy, but I promise you it's the truest thing.
Yeah. Well, what is your creative process like when it comes to songwriting? Do you prefer to write to a fully produced track, or do you prefer for it to be bare? Like, what's the thing that gets you going as a songwriter?
I prefer to write from scratch. Like the musicians or the producer and myself, I prefer for us to just all create at the same time. But that's not always what can happen. And so when it comes to like tracks, whether they're like an idea or fully produced, I'm sorry.
I love it.
As you can see, it's really like a family over here. I really just go in and I do melodies, and I don't like listening to the track for a long time because I think too much in my life. I don't like to think too much in music. And when I think too much in music, it just goes downhill. So I just like to get on the track and do about 4 tracks of melodies, and then I comp. Sometimes the song comes out one take. Sometimes I piece it together in a couple. And yeah, that's pretty much, I do melody first, and the words, I do mumbles, and I kind of like to, it's almost like therapy, I go in the studio, I put it on the track, and then I listen what was I thinking? And I try to piece it together. So that's my writing process pretty much.
Nice. That's where I guess the puzzle part comes in too, because you're doing the figuring, problem solving.
Exactly. Piecing it together, trying to find what was the heart of what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So so I know you've opened for some significant artists. I love it. This is the best shit ever. Yes.
It's like seeing The Grudge just crawl across the tube. We see you, bro. Anyway.
Tell me about Beyonce though, because not many people can say they've even seen Beyonce in a concert, because you got to afford it. And if and even if they're at the concert, they're so far back, they're just watching the jumbotron. So tell me about what that experience was like how it came. I know you told me that you listened to Beyonce. She's been somewhat of an influence for you as well. So what was that like?
I did. She's literally just the work ethic is impeccable, and she to me is the greatest example of a woman who just wanted to be there's no part of my talent, there is no stone I'm going to leave unturned. I'm going to make the absolute best of what God has given me, whether it was experimenting with her voices through different albums and doing, just pushing myself. So I love that. You cannot be inspired by that as a young Black woman. So opening, there was 3 of us that got to open up before the concert was the Bermuda Jazz Festival, and she headlined it. One day was her, the other day was Alicia Keys. And so it was amazing getting to see all of them, you know, up close and personal. And I didn't get to meet Beyonce. I was supposed to, but you know how those concerts go.
Yeah.
I didn't get to. We were on like separate stages, so it was like the act right before the act. They switched stages. And I just had so much support. I had so much support. I wore my little shiny outfit, you know. I did my little. It was before college too, so it was like I was a baby, and it was so funny because when I went to Berkeley, they had this clinic and music business clinic, and her dad came to the clinic, and we had an opportunity to ask questions. And so I asked a question, and I was just like, I just want to know, are you here to give us business advice, or are you looking for talent? Right? It was the question that everybody wanted to know. You know, Beyonce's daddy came to school. We don't want to hear what you have to say. Is you or is you not passing out them cards, right? So I asked the question, and you know, I think he was working on Solange. He was like, it was both Solange and Beyonce were popping at that point. And so he was like, I'm not looking to sign anybody right now, but this school is so full of talent. And he came to me and he found me afterwards. And he was just like, I just want to give you my card because, like, that spunk that you have, like, he's like, I haven't seen that since my oldest daughter told me she wanted to sing, and she, you know, so I just want to say, like, I think you have something special. And I never called him, you know. I pray about things. I never called him, but that conversation was enough to, like, let me know I was on the right path.
For sure.
So
well, let me ask you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, I had stopped talking. I think it was the lagging.
Oh, my bad. Well, you mentioned about Beyonce in kind of a holistic sense in terms of what she means to the context of the music industry as it relates to being a woman and being her own, you know, boss and everything like that. What do you feel like is the next, like, Beyonce's getting a little older, you know, and there's got to be people who are there to carry the torch for Beyonce. What do you think that looks like for an artist to be following behind Beyonce? Is it about doing what Beyonce did, and if not, what is it? You know.
Well, you can never really tell the future, but like in my heart, and what I think it is I don't necessarily think it's someone coming and dancing and singing like she does. I really just think it's someone coming and bringing excellence to every aspect of their artistry in ways that she and her team did. You know, I think that's really what it is that she represents a bar. She represents a standard. She represents hours. She represents the opposite of mediocrity. And I think that the generation that like we have now, there's some amazing artists that are bubbling up, that are really presenting that excellence. You know, I love her. She's a favorite of mine as far as like the other brown girls that are out right now. She's an excellent songwriter, and she has so much passion, and I think the intention in her music is just pure, and I think that that's what it means to be influenced by Beyonce, is just to bring a level of excellence to what you do. If we could get somebody who's gonna be on stage, I mean, Normani does an amazing job. Victoria Monet does an amazing job, you know. So there's so many people that are really, I feel like, honoring that level of excellence right now. And I think that's like,
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I want to make sure that we double back for everybody that's out there. I want to make sure that we end on the music. So I'm going to give the last word to you. You have been amazing. You've been so gentle and kind. I really appreciate your time. We have to do it again.
Yes, please. You've been
I'm
a
in
super
Atlanta.
dope host.
Thank you. I'm in Atlanta as well. We need to collaborate, like on the songwriting tip. You know, I'm a very easygoing person. You know, I'm not high strung, and I'm a virtual guy as well. So I'm all good with virtual collaboration also. So I wanted to let you tell everybody what's going on in terms of cave covers and anything else you might have coming up before you know, Instagram gives me the axe and tells me I got to get the hell off.
Okay, all right. So, I'm just joking. You know, we're putting out the cave cover deluxe, and that's coming soon. I'm gonna have a live concert in the park. You know, I'm not gonna tell you the date. You know, kind of, you know, secret. I'm gonna send out some stuff, you know. And I have some of my amazing friends from Berkeley are gonna be a part of that. You know, I really would love if you guys could stream the projects, see if you love it, see if you can make some good memories, some babies, some cookouts, some swimming, whatever. And I just hope that you can make memories to the music that I've made and I continue to make. Follow me, Canjelae, Canjelae, everywhere. Cave Covers is out. Go stream it, please.
Yes. I want everybody to make sure they check it out. It's definitely a vibe. No skips, you know, quality vocals, quality songwriting. Yeah, so I appreciate great music. Trust me. So I am again thankful that you were able to join me. We got to do it again, and you know, I will be supporting whatever it is that you put out. So tell the whole family. Tell my guy, my special guest in the back.
Right?
Tell him I said, "What's up?"
They hear you. They hear you. They hear you.
What up? That's the most G shit ever, bro. I just gotta let you know.
I know. Ninjas.
Yes, I love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. So thank you once again. We'll be in touch. Peace and blessings to you. Stay safe out here in these streets.
Thank you. You too,
All right.
And hit me up.
I will. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
All right. Bye.